Jay, you talked earlier about the quarterback position and being a perfectionist, and you and Robert kind of the same way in that regard, and having to deal with being a perfectionist when not everything's perfect. And just wondering how you've seen that develop in Robert, and you're working with him through training camp and preseason, and sort of the I guess the knife edge you're walking on of wanting to be perfect and knowing it's not going to be.
Yeah, Robert is a perfectionist, no question, and that's good. That's what you want your quarterback to be. You want him to be detail-oriented as far as the routes are concerned, the protections, and be aware of what's going around you, and also make sure that he knows that every throw's got to be on time and perfect. And obviously we've had our instances where not everything has been perfect, and when you play 16 games against 16 very good defenses, you're going to have some issues every now and then. The big thing is to fight through them and move on to the next play as quickly as possible, learn from your mistakes, and hope that the next play is going to be a better one. But I think I'm very encouraged with where he is as a quarterback right now, and obviously time will tell, and we play Sunday, so I'm sure we'll have a great measuring stick there.
Hey, Jay, when you talk about a team like the Texans that can generate the type of pass rush they have with individual guys, how comforting is it for a guy who's designing a game plan to know you've got the type of running game that you have that's going to make those guys have to contend with and just can't pin their ears back and go after your quarterback?
Barry, that's the case every week. Every team has good pass rushers somewhere along their defensive front, and Texans are no different with Clowney and Watt and Reed, so that they can really get after the quarterback. And obviously the great neutralizer is a strong running game, and we think we possess that. So it's going to be very important for us to establish some kind of running game. If we get behind and it turns into a drop-back pass fest, it won't be pretty. So it's very important for us to stick with the run the ball, and do the best we can in that regard to take some pressure off our quarterback and our linemen for that matter.
How do you game plan for Clowney? You haven't seen a lot of him at the NFL level. Is there anywhere you look for kind of hints as to how that might go?
Yeah, you can't really Clowney and Watt have been on the field for about 20 plays this whole preseason, so it's been very difficult to really try to get a good feel for where they're going to be all the time. We have a general idea, but it's difficult. And then to really envision the type of speed and size and power that he has just watching on film is also not easy. So it's just going to be a matter of, we assume he's going to be on Trent's side, and if he moves over to Tyler's side, then so be it. We just got to do a good job of knowing who he is, what his strengths are as a pass rusher, and go from there.
In the spring or in the offseason, you talked about how with Robert that he has to kind of get past the not everybody's going to like him stage or whatever. Do you feel he's worried less about what people think? Have you seen growth in that area in him?
I think so. He came out of Baylor, was Heisman Trophy. Everybody loved him and had a great year. His rookie of the year, and did some great things. And then obviously, as quarterbacks do go through some point in their career, they hit the rocky spot. And he hit the rocky spot last year and kind of realized that people will turn on him, writers included. And it's just the way of the nature of the business. It's just the nature of the business. And I understand that as a coach. You have to understand that as a player, and you have to take the good with the bad. And the most important thing I tell a quarterback is you got to be mentally tough and you got to handle adversity. And I think he's done a great job of that. It's tough for him a pill for him to swallow, but I think he swallowed it and he's moved forward and trying to do the best he can.
What happens as a result when as a quarterback or as a player gets past that point? What happens? What can happen as a result?
Well, I think he just stays focused on his job and his job only, and not worried about reading papers and articles and seeing ESPN or whatever it is. He just wants to worry about his job, making himself better, a better player, worried about his progressions, his pass protection responsibilities, his run game responsibility, and just worry about playing the position and doing right in his family life, and not worry about anything else on the outside world.
Jay, have you established your captains for this upcoming game?
I have not yet. No, we'll vote on those probably Friday.
Okay, on Robert, another one on Robert. Given the pass rush he's going to face, how is he progressing in being decisive, getting rid of the ball, which seemed to be an issue in the preseason?
Yeah, well, we hope that he's progressing good, but we'll see on Sunday. It's going to be very important for him to get the ball out of his hands. And, longer he pats the ball back there and gives those great pass rushers in Houston or Dallas or New York or Philadelphia, any pass rushers for that matter, time to get after them, it's not going to be good. So the whole intent of this offense is when we do pass it, we know where our quick elements are. We get the ball to our players out in space and let them do the work for them. And hopefully Robert knows where all those people are on the field and can get the ball out. And, our intent as an offense is to make sure we have enough passing plays where he doesn't have to hold the ball that long. But we'll take some shots here and there, too, where he has to hold it a little bit longer. But for the most part, let's get him into some rhythm, unlike we did against Baltimore, and and try to get the ball moving.
Coach, Robert made a point to mention, people not liking me, and I know everyone's not going to like me. As a coach, when you hear that, does it cause you concern knowing that your quarterback is thinking about that and not football, Texans, getting better? Because that stuff's always going to happen.
Yeah, he gets interviewed so much that sometimes he probably says some things he probably shouldn't say, but I think that he's far enough along and he understands this business now that not everybody's going to like him. He's probably just making that point, I hope, but hopefully he understands that. And I just made that clear a minute ago. He's just got to understand that the position that you play, you're going to be criticized quite heavily if things don't go right in this organization. He's going to be the focal point, myself, and he will be the focal point. We got to understand that, take the good with the bad, and learn from our mistakes and move forward and not worry about the outside world. But if he's focused too much on what other people are thinking, it's going to be a problem for him in the future, and hopefully he's moved past that.
Coach, obviously Iheanacho just got here. He's been here for a few days, but he did start 17 games last season. Is there any chance that he could start in place of Rambo, or is it going to be Rambo entering this game?
Right now it looks like it'll be Rambo, but we still have another day or two of practice, and we'll see how it goes. Just got to make sure he gets up to speed, and then we'll make that decision probably Friday or Saturday, depending on where he is mentally.
Being a first-year head coach, first time here, is there any advantage you get from that this weekend? Any advantage to maybe people not having seen your plays? And then obviously on the flip side, that's the same thing on the other side. How do you get ready for that?
Yeah, that's true. It's we're both kind of dealing with the same thing. Trying to study and put together a game plan based on a couple preseason games is rough. Like I said, Jonathan Joseph hadn't even played, and Watt and Clowney's only played about 18 to 20 snaps together at the same time, and Cushing's played very limited. So, I don't know exactly what they're going to do. Try to go back and watch some tape from a couple years ago at Kansas City's defense and see what they did there. But overall, you just have to have a good, sound approach to the type of defense that he plays and have answers both in the passing game and the running game, and feel good that your system in place can account for a lot of things that you might not see on tape. And we do feel good about our protection scheme and our running game, and we feel good anything that they throw at us, we should have an answer eventually. It could be a positive. Can be. I hope it is.
Coach, I know I asked you in the preseason to kind of critique how you did and how you handled warm-ups and that kind of thing. And I guess what are your emotions now going into week one, and this is the real thing, and how do you feel about your game readiness, I guess?
I feel good. I just feel the weight of the world on my shoulders a little bit. It's just, when you're a coordinator, you just worry about the offensive game plan and scripting and doing the cards. But as a head coach, there's a lot more on your plate. And, I've been eating it all. It's rough. But it's been exciting. And I'm very excited about the first game to start, very nervous. But I know that the staff that I hired and the players we have in the building, I know it's not going to be about me, and it's going to be about them and their success. And we feel like we've got the players and the coaches in place here to put together a successful football team on the field. And that's, when it's all said and done as a coach, that's all you want. You want to get your players in the best position to succeed, and we feel like we've done that up to this point, and now it's up to them to go out and play.
Didn't see Tracy Porter out there. What's his status?
He's got the hamstring. He's getting his hamstring checked out.
Jay, you mentioned the quick passing game. Obviously, that would make sense. J.J. Watt's pretty good at knocking down passes and kind of filling in those gaps. How do you kind of deal with that part of his game?
Well, you just, you watch tape on him, and he's got plenty of tape to prove that he's one of the most dynamic linemen in the game. And Chester's got to watch him. Corey's got to watch him. Sean Laval's got to watch him. Our tackle's got to watch him because we don't know where he's going to line up half the time. So they all got to be aware of his power move. He's got a swim move. He's got an inside move. He's got it all. And then if he doesn't rush, he'll bat the ball down. So we just got to understand that he's a great player, and we got to work on our technique. Coach Firster, we've been working techniques all throughout training camp, and these guys are professional linemen, been playing it for a long time, and faced great pass rushers. But they just got to buckle up and bear down on every snap because he is a game-changing type player, and we have to know where he is at all times.
A couple other things on the injury front. Akeem Jordan, did he practice? And Jordan Reed had that thumb issue last week. Is that cleared up pretty much?
Yeah, Jordan did everything today, and Akeem did not participate. He's still working through the knee.
How concerned are you with Porter's availability for Sunday at this point?
We're a little concerned. We feel like, not concerned, we have players here If he can't go, we're okay. We have some good enough players here that are ready and been taking a lot of work because he hasn't been available that often in training camp and in the preseason. So we have guys that are ready to step up and play if he's not ready.
Jay, was Porter even here today, or is he elsewhere?
He was elsewhere. He was getting checked out from another doctor.
Have you named the captains for?
No, not yet. No.
How will that process take place?
Probably vote on Friday. He was. Yeah. I want to be liked. All right, thank you.